June 19th, 2015. At the reality of the soul and all through the days, and with Diablos Abominables with evangelic titles, telling that they seized by the Lord with the supposed discerning of spirits like any witch, making the whole of the adivinatory association to match wherever the deliverers and sickness they each and every one are with the permanent victims. About my person in our lives, saying that they define the reality of the spiritual world and dimension of the Lord and its word and symbolisms, and saying that everything is spirit and the flesh is only flesh, and Lord will say we don't fight against flesh, we only fight against spirit, and everything is spirit, and there is nothing on flesh to see farther of the reality of what you discerned about the spirit of Jezebel, the spirit of Kelsing, the spirit of Teller, the spirit of witch, the spirit of Papa Shira, the spirit of Seguba Rekuba, the spirit of your supposed dressing, my person, Eliah and Moshe. Abominables engendros de Lucifer. And like them, supporting and saying that everything of spiritual in my existence still there will ever be for Sodom and Gomorrah. And saying that they don't fight against flesh, and Lord is going to say, and rather, diablos reventados in flesh and bones, that the reality of His name, which is order, honest, clean, just, truth, reality, faithfulness, honorably, and clearing, for what this all compounds at the real of His love in the justice of His name, at the orders that He demanded, and not the delirious delusional of perros degenerados with an angelic title. All through this day, and I'm sorry my violence and my clearing for all these situations that implies also certain exhibitionism. You know, there are moments in life that you don't have no much to do and to give, but doing exactly what I have been explaining so long. I've been pointing about my life as a picture, not for symbolism, not for dimensional, but for that certain clear and not associatably freelance, but for what it means, exactly the state of a person and the moment through of a person, and the quality and virtue as defect, and even though the right existential fight over through a very relation over levels and condition between power and life, which I have pointed since I started this denouncing at 2007 and 2006. All around the idea which I presented myself in front of the World Health Organization, United Nations, Apia Avenu 20, which is 220 BRM, United Nations, Geneva, Swiss. About said, the parable of the raped woman. Whenever there is the reality of the character of a person put it in diminished condition in front of a bagleri ihamatken, on not for sexism, but for the condition of what it means, power. Power. Not sexism, power. And not for fathers, but power. At the clear fact of vulnerable, fragile, element for trample use, groping, and doing whatever the power determines. Fragile image, weak image. Some bin retu ma uli etu boktos. And through the reality for this one to been through and crossed by this element of power, parosusia, which takes her and rapes her without her consenting. or she to say, oh, I had. And she goes in front of one power, perro sucio, pretender of church, and tells to it, oh, this one just went blah, 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 and raped me. And the perro sucio, considered of church, says, no, you're a whore. Because of perro sucio and perro sucio are the same class. So in the middle of the soul, she goes away and traps the Radlefinisa again in the way, captures her, the same son of a snake, rapes her again, and goes in front of the judge again, ain't no judge, shit, with title of judge, and says again, he raped me again. And the son of a snake, perro sucio, again, no, you're a whore. And then she goes away, and again, captures perro sucio degenerado, rapes her, and after she goes in front of the whole of the people and tells to the whole of the people, this one had and everything like have done. And the perro sucio releases the rottennest ever river all through to bury her and drag her to hell. Internation, medication, Sodoma Policía Federal Argentina, UNASUR, forgery, invention of, he's a liar, oh, he is insulting us, oh, but he doesn't have no placement. No decency and never shit that they makes up not only of me, of my person, but much others. And the reality of this delivers into so way heavy, long time, a lifetime actually, in fact, making worse than this. So in the middle of this soul, I wonder, at the fact of this soul, a real clear fact on the natures of each side. Because of a title and says, daily government, who is the word? Here. Further who I am, and you understand who I am and who I exist, for each and every one of us. One species of freaks and that generates like this and abominables. For a title, who is the word? And what do Adonai says about this? Do not fight against the flesh. His Holy Spirit, you've got to pray and the day makes worse. Like flesh of demons, everyone has. For this to be. And the raped woman gives under destruction and gets three choices. First, height and suicide in the loneliness, reclusion, self-reclusion, are the conditions to not get off of that for safety and rather stay like that than crossfire again the same thing. Two, tells to transit at life and through the way taking risk is because of the son of a perro sucio still around with the perro sucios that promotes also and holds and sustains for them to keep on doing and them to keep on being. Or become in a very character of carrying a weapon and start to killing perro sucio degenerados all over the system. What do we do? HTTPS www.brmcdnc Sodoma y Gomorra Sónica primera ay yo soy la autora ay porque me roba que mental SSMDSB 5542 middle 848993996 PDXTDMCT 4841 DMC 88 middle middle MM4 3.9T systems recorded 2. I'm sorry for this, it's a brief thing. Let's see what to do next. Shala. Alejandro Mario Blanco Redemi. Elishel Elie. Blanco Redemi. Aflas Sides Hati Het Sachachai. Dish El Tzir Halina Lecha Bet Lech Matzech Hadido Sot Zedi Ishkat Zedi Havanero. And I'm sorry for the terms, and for the violence, and for the acquired, as to this destruction that I am willing to make it end. Shut up. Let's see what is to learn. Abominable enfermedad degenerada, creídos de derecho de bien y de que todo tenga que morir por ustedes. Perros degenerados creídos de real patria y gobierno argentino. Y un azul.